Hello everyone and welcome to this video, which is in our Crazy Leela series. I'm Grandmaster Matthew Sadler and this is the first of a series of videos using tactics from Leela's matches at various odds. We're starting with night odds. 10 positions, not too difficult, but all very enjoyable. So just doing a little lead up to this one. So Leela had sacked the G-pawn on move 2. But has got some play, as Leela always manages to do, and this queen's attacking the pawn on b7, pawn on d5. Black decided to give back a little bit of material just to get a little bit safe. Leela took on f6, took on d5, and then Leela took the bishop on h5, the queen swinging over to h5, and then Black decided to get the bishop developed. So Leela's got a pawn back for the knight and slightly better pawn structure. But what did Leela play here? Well, you've got to watch out with these with Leela. There are loads of them in Leela's games. Bishop h3 pins the queen to the king and wins the queen. I think Black didn't particularly notice this because the queen swung over and it's sort of kind of camouflaged somehow. But just as deadly, of course. This position I actually presented during the Joel Benjamin Leela Night Odds classical time control match. If you haven't looked at those videos, I mean, please do take a look. I thought they were really nice videos, really great games, and a really nice event all round. So Leela's actually got the piece back, has got 2 rooks for the queen. The key problem for Black is that the king and the queen are on the same rank. And if White's rook could only get to h7, it would win the Black queen. So how does White play in this position? Well, bishop h3 was the really nice idea. And the idea is to distract the Black bishop. After bishop h3, we go rook takes h7. If you go e takes f3, then bishop f5 is also very painful, followed by rook takes h7. In the game, Black played bishop g6, but as you can see from the arrows, the Black king is really caught in a horrible crosspin. So I suppose the puzzle there is, how does White actually get the Black king in check? Actually. What is the only line basically along which White isn't attacking the king? And that turns out to be rook to f1, and after e takes f3, rook takes f3. It's carnage on the f file. Oh, that's a really nice tactic there. I like that very, very much. This is a sneaky one. This is, a strong opponent, sort of resisting for a very long time. Lost the piece back, but still going on there. I think Black was maybe vaguely looking for the better of a draw here. Played the move rook d7, hoping to swap off the rooks. It's not a great move because we would even have rook h8 here, picking up the pawn. But there's an even better move. What was it? It's mate with rook c8 check. The rook has blocked in the Black king, and after king b5, then rook c5 is checkmate. I mean, you really do see a lot of self-blocking in these mates. Sort of, obviously, Leela's got a piece less, so it's got to rely a little bit on the opponent's pieces to block their own king in order to deliver these mates, especially with queen odds, of course. But Leela's somehow very good at sort of getting this out of the opponent to end up blocking his own king with his own pieces. This is a nice little game. Just a sort of a French type position in which Leela had played like it always does in the French, just with a piece less. Black's got some problems here. King caught in the centre. White's piece is very nicely placed here, sort of restricting all the pieces. But there seems to be a pawn loose. Queen takes f4. Has Leela missed something, or is there something sneaky? Well, You may have guessed that there is something sneaky, something rather unexpected. Bishop g3. And bizarrely enough, with the whole board open like that, the black queen is trapped. There is not a single move for the black queen to play somehow. The only possibility that black might have would be to play the move bishop f6, just trying to distract the queen from the defense of the bishop on g3. But here I've got the normal desperado. Rook takes e6 check, fe6, queen g6, and well, we're going to feel quite happy about ourselves there because we're going to pick up the queen on f4 on the next move. Good play from Leela. Oh, this was an interesting one. Again, I haven't just gone for the mating attacks. I've tried to pick out scenarios that happen quite often. Where one side's actually resisting very well, but somehow Leela finds a way through. And this was a good example. I mean, black's still the piece up. Okay, lost a couple of pawns along the way. But still sort of looking okay. And obviously with the pawns advancing like that and the black king on the back rank, it's very natural for black to play a move like h5, just give your king some room, make that pass pawn on the queen side that you expect to happen after a6, make that that pawn less dangerous. But here Leela found something extremely unpleasant. What was it? Well, what Leela found was the very unpleasant move e5. And the key problem now is that because you've played the move h5, the bishop on g6 has been undefended. So this knight can't just move away now because the bishop on g6 will fall. And, well, Leela will just be a couple of pawns up. So you take on e5, but then rook takes b7. And now you've got two passed pawns. And actually, this is completely winning for white. It's +3. So this is what the opponent tried. A little bit of a counter-attack somehow, but it didn't get anywhere. Takes. And b6. The pawn on f3 is stopping the bishop getting to e4, and we're just playing b7 there. Thought it was very, very impressive somehow, and very typical of what's happening here. It's not just the brilliant attacks; it's the little pinprick somehow that push the opponent over the edge. When he's resisting grimly. Oh, this was quite a nice little one. I mean, you see the use of the rook's pawn an awful lot here in Leela's games. The rook's pawn being moved up to h6, sort of sticking in black's throat, pinning the black king to the back rank, stopping it from getting to g7, and then Leela exploiting it. And this is a case in point. How did Leela exploit the weakness of the back rank in this position? So the main line is to take, and then play bishop f6. Now in the game, black played bishop f6, and I'll just give you a little moment if you didn't get this far. The nice point about it is the move queen takes f6 check. And after rook takes f6, we've got rook e8 checkmate. If you were to go to g8, then rook e8 would be very, very powerful indeed. And then the really nice one as well is that if you go king to g8, just stepping out of it and trying to keep things together, there's various ways of winning. But bishop e7 is quite a nice one for white, freeing the queen's path to the g7 square, exploiting another advantage of that pawn on h6. Really very, very nice, very typical play there from Leela. Yeah, this one's a little bit of a complicated example. I think the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what is the obvious tactic in the position? Now, I hope you're all screaming out Greek gift with bishop takes h7, but it's a little bit tricky, this one, because what Leela did, quite impressive at low notes, was actually to improve that sacrifice. And the way that sacrifice was improved was to play the move c5 first, hitting the bishop on b6. And after d takes c5, Leela took on h7. Takes, check. king g6, the best defense, always. If you go back to g8, queen h5 is incredibly strong. So king g6, queen g4, and we've got this typical situation now. So I suppose one key question is, why on earth did Leela play c5 first? Because actually it seems to give black more possibilities for defense. For example, the move queen takes d4. Well, I'll just point that one out to you. The key point is that if you were to play bishop h7 check immediately, check, black would play f5 in this position. And if e takes f6, king f6, rook e1, we've got the move e5. And the fact that this pawn on d6 is supporting the pawn on e5 is rather annoying, and gives black, quite good defensive prospects here. It remains always very fraught, but this is somewhat better defensive prospects. So Leela played the move c5 in order to take away that defense. Because if you go ef5 takes, I'll go rook e1 now, hitting the pawn on e6, and you can't play e5. The pawn's got no protection, and I'm just threatening rook takes e6 check, in actual fact, delivering mate. So that's one idea. But queen takes d4 is looks like a much better defense, sort of attacking the queen on d4. So how did white play in this position? I'm going to ask you a number of little questions along the way there. It's a good example of quite a slightly more complicated Greek if sacrifice. Well, white's best move here is to play the move bishop f4, and stopping the queen from taking the queen, and we're threatening knight takes e6 check or knight f3 check, just picking up the black queen. So black plays a defense f5. So trying to chase the queen away. And what's white's best move here? Well, one of the things that's quite important is that there's no defense along the back rank here. The queen, if the queen were on d8, well, the move I'm going to show you would not be the best. But with the queen on d4, white has the possibility of playing queen h4. And we're threatening queen h7, checkmate there. Very, very difficult to stop, in actual fact. So black played the move rook h8. And after queen h8, played the move queen f4. So it looks like, as black managed to break up the white attacking structure somehow, But does white have a move here that that actually, re-establishes that attacking structure? White does indeed. There is this move h4, which is extremely unpleasant. Black's best would be to play the move queen takes c5, when we could carry on with rook e1. We've got queen e8 check as well, which is incredibly dangerous. Oh no, that was right. Queen e8 check was the move. And then if king h6, then we've got knight f7 check, which is absolutely killing. In the game, black played the move knight c6, and the move queen h7 check ended in a nice mate. So quite a complicated Greek if sacrifice there, and quite impressive for Leela to be doing this on not very much calculation. So, but very nice. And I've never quite seen this idea of playing c5 just to take away some defensive solidity from black in the centre there. This one's a little bit sneaky here. So this was Leela playing a 1b4 and then just shoving the pawns forward, all a little bit crazy. The queen comes to g4, the bishop comes to e2. It's very hard to really grasp what Leela's doing, but somehow this pawn on e4's been taken. But of course, black sort of eyeing this long diagonal here and thinking, I could do something good here if only my bishop on b7 was protected. So black plays the move castles. And what did Leela do here? Well, I pointed out that you've got to watch out for these. And this one hit again. Bishop g4, pinning the queen to the king. Obviously f5. I just played g takes f6 en passant. as my nephew has just learnt. And en passant, and the pin still exists. So once again, pin of the queen to the king. A very sneaky one, this one. Very easy to miss when you're playing at speed. And, well, black missed it as well here. This is a very interesting one. I'll maybe give you the lead up to it. It's quite a nice combination, really. So bishop f8 was played by black, which looks just rather decent in actual fact, right? I mean, after all, the black king looks all right. Black's a piece up, and you're just consolidating the queen side, and you're just gradually going to try and consolidate everything. The only thing about this move is that there is the slight problem that the g file has been opened here. So the bishop on g7 used to give the king some cover on the g file, but that no longer exists. And, well, Leela just went for it a little bit. Played the move knight takes a5. And black took back with a knight on a5, wanting to avoid some of the possibilities that could arise otherwise. But Leela took on b4, and now black took back on b4. So what did Leela play here? It's really, really nice, and it's very unexpected, actually. It was the sort of thing that raises your eyebrows. I mean, you're looking at the expected recapture on b4 somehow. Yeah, Leela plays all over the board, of course, and played the move rook takes g6. I mean, obviously, queen takes h5 is the threat, and the key thing is that after king takes g6, we play rook g1 check, king h6, and I'll just give you, if you haven't spotted it, then I'll just give you a couple of seconds to spot the key finish. It's a really lovely one. It's a move rook g5, and a quiet move, but just threatening queen takes h5. And somehow the way that the black pieces have gravitated towards the queen side, being drawn away there, there's no way for black to put anything to block on the h file, no way to hide behind anything on the g file. So queen takes h5 check is just checkmate. Really nice, that one, I thought. Really nice game there. And then, oh yeah, the final one for our day today. So yeah, I mean, again, this player with black resisted pretty well, really. Played a number of games where I thought he was, fighting very toughly. But yeah, it's just always. It's like Joel said, during the match that he played, classical time control against Leela recently. You just you're never finished with the threats somehow, and the tricks, they just keep on coming. And I mean, part of the reason for that, I think, is that Leela's sort of putting the conditions for tricks. This pawn has been moved to h6 again, pinning the black king to the back rank. G7 squares available for mates. I mean, there's quite a few problems there that could happen. I mean, black tried to hurry up with his attack, and it looks like, I mean, it's very close, right? I mean, if we take on b3, we're going to be threatening mate. But Leela had a great counter shot planned here. What was it? Well, Leela's idea was the really nice rook takes d5. That's quite a shock, that one, I have to say. What's the idea? Well, the back rank is weak, so rook takes d5 just allows rook c8 check. But you might say, well, what about e takes d5? Just give you a couple of seconds just in case you hadn't seen this one. Well, queen takes d5 is the riposte. And of course, we're threatening queen takes d8, we're threatening queen takes f7. And you can't take on d5 because of rook c8 check with a back rank mate. Thank you, h6 pawn. And if you go rook f8, then I'll just give you a couple of seconds if you hadn't spotted this continuation. White's got the move queen e5, and we're going to get the mate on g7. If you go f6, I just go to e7, and you won't stop me delivering mate along the 7th rank now. I mean, beautiful, right? I mean, really, really nice geometry, and all, all because of that pawn on h6. And after rook f8, which is what black played, well, rook d8 was played there. Threatening rook takes f8 and queen d8. And the amazing nice point is that black does have the possibility of rook b3, defending f8 and also threatening queen takes b2, queen b2 mate. Well, I mean, there's a few possibilities, but queen d4, which is what the engines were pointing out, is very, very nice. Defending the b2 square and also threatening queen g7 checkmate. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed these tactics. Going to do a few more videos like this. I enjoy very much, looking at this and picking out, some mating attacks, but also some, which reflect the normal run of play and the normal sort of tricks that Leela is finding in positions. Because I think those are, very, very instructive for us. And yeah, really just show how Leela manages to score such an amazing score with, at night odds. And yeah, Larry Kaufman and also the Leela chess team sort of messaged me to have a look at a match that was taking place. It was 3 minutes plus 2, and Leela ended up beating Fabiano Caruana by 8.5 to half at night odds. So I mean, yeah, just shows how amazing Leela is at night odds, and yeah, it's still something I can barely believe. Considering that if you'd asked me 6 months ago or something, I would have said night odds. Yeah, any 2300 player could beat Leela with, at blitz time controls, no problem. Just absolutely incredible. So there we are. Hope you're enjoying the videos. Do give a like, subscribe if you do, and otherwise hope to see you at the next ones. Thanks for watching.